Hi, I'm Eric Strickwood, a course coordinator for History and Indigenous Studies 369, a history of Aboriginal peoples since 1830. This senior level course traces the stories of Aboriginal peoples beginning at a moment when some Aboriginal groups already had a long history of encounters with non-Aboriginal peoples, and other Aboriginal groups were only beginning relationships with non-Aboriginal peoples. The course begins with native newcomer relations in the context of the mighty fur trade on the Great Plains. There, Aboriginal peoples and European traders engaged in a mostly mutually beneficial trade in furs for European manufactured goods. But much would change by mid-century. For one, the great bison herds on which Plains people like the Cree and the Blackfoot relied for their very autonomy were on the decline. For another, the Canadians' plans for their newly acquired territory, the whole of the Great Northwest, rested in the main on the development of an agricultural empire, an empire that had no space for the fur trade. It also had little space for the people of the plains and parkland who had called the region home for centuries. In this context, the course considers the Canadians' efforts to extinguish Aboriginal title to the region through a complex, sometimes surprising, treaty-making process. From there, the course expands its lens to native newcomer relations in British Columbia, Canada's east coast, and the central woodland and shield regions. Finally, the course moves the stories of Aboriginal peoples and non-Aboriginal peoples into the 20th century, charting the ways Aboriginal peoples began to organize themselves into collective advocacy groups, the ways they made use of Canada's political, economic, and judicial systems to make their voices heard, the ways they resisted non-Aboriginal efforts to eliminate the very presence of an Aboriginal Canada. Over the course of Aboriginal peoples since 1830, we asked students to complete 2 written assignments, each of which allows students to penetrate further and deeper into either a topic they select from a list or on a topic they produce themselves with the guidance of a member of our academic team. The history of native newcomer relations in Canada is complex and fascinating, and it's a story that's still being written today.